Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to Uplift, wherever you are, joining us live or in replay around the world. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sarah Wade. I'm a transpersonal coach. I'm an art therapist. I'm a mum. I'm a fun-loving person. And today with me, we've got my co-host from Calgary, Canada, Mr. Neil Thrussell, who is a best-selling author and coach. How are you, Neil?
I am freaking awesome. We were having so much fun backstage that I was like, we got to come and share this with the rest of the world. And I'm really excited to get to know Jenny a little more.
Absolutely. And joining us is Jenny Pace, who's an amazing lady. She is a confidence and success coach who's joining us from Spain. How are you, Jenny?
I'm hearing a lot of voices right now.
Hang on. She's joining us from Spain. How are you?
I don't know if it's just me, but I'm hearing a lot of voices right now.
Hang on. She's joining us from Spain.
Sorry, I don't know if you hear that, but I hear everything double right now.
If it's just me, but I'm hearing a lot of right now. Jenny, how about you put yourself on silent? Neil and I will do some conversation while you sort out that. Jenny, how about you put yourself on silent? Neil and I will do some conversation while you sort out that.
So,
wow. We don't usually have technical difficulties like this, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with us for just a moment while we sort this out. Now, today we will be talking about confidence and success. Let us know, what is confidence? What is success to you? Drop it in the comments. Love to hear some feedback from you, and let us know if this has changed over the years for you. I know for me, both of them have changed, and I'm curious to hear you. What's happening for you? Neil, have you noticed that success has changed over the years? For me, both. Oh, I can't hear you now.
Jenny is the issue for our audio issues because I muted her and she's got a double feedback in here. So she may have her speakers on and her headphones on. So we'll try muted her and yep. But confidence, to me, it's like a muscle. We're all born with just very weak little muscles, barely able to hold our head. And as we grow and evolve, our muscles grow and evolve. And confidence is just like that. As we grow and evolve, our confidence grows. And sometimes confidence we can shatter our confidence, but like a muscle, we can easily grow and build it up again.
Absolutely. And it's almost like you have that muscle memory, isn't it, with confidence? If you've achieved it in one area, you know you can achieve it again.
all right, guys, I am on it. I figured it out because I accidentally hit YouTube on. Oh my God. All right, here we are, guys. Okay. So now going back to your question, Sarah, I am doing wonderful here in Spain right now. It's 3:30 in the morning, and I'm so excited that I was being invited to come here to your podcast and to meet Neil in Canada and to meet you, Sarah, again. But I know you already. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. And we'll forgive the technical difficulties. It's 3 a.m. as you just mentioned. So all good. Now, I was just saying how confidence is what confidence is to us, and I'm curious, what is confidence to you?
Well, confidence is such a broad topic for me, but I would say it depends. It depends really confident in what you want to be confident in. So confidence could be like feeling confident that I can have healthy relationships whenever I meet new people, or confidence could be for me that whatever I have, whatever goal I have in my life, that I'm able to achieve that. So it's really, for me, confidence is just really a muscle. That's how I would say it in a short way. Yeah. Confidence is a muscle, and I think you can grow it in any area you want to grow it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And in excuse me, in your life, have you always been confident, or is this a muscle that you've grown yourself?
Oh, this is absolutely a muscle that I've grown myself. I have not always been confident, especially right now, like just showing up or just talking about a topic and not feeling like awkward or something. I definitely grew that muscle through repetition, through getting myself into situations where I was scared in order to learn, in order to grow. And this is how confidence has grown in my life.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that with us. And Neil, what about yourself? Have you always been confident, or is it something that, like Jenny and myself, you've also grown in?
I've grown, but to some degree, I've had a certain arrogance and outward, because I was the class clown. I was the funny guy. And I was this class clown trying to hide my insecurities. So in order to be seen, I was always outgoing and telling jokes and funny and funny and funny. So I had confidence to tell jokes, but I didn't have the confidence to really express who I was. The real Neil was hidden into this mask and facade of this bravado. And yeah, it took years to finally accept myself, that people would accept me as who I really was and how I really wanted to be.
Mm.
I know for myself, I'm a bit of an ambivert, probably more leaning towards introvert. How about you guys? Are you more extroverted, introverted, or are you in the middle? Are you an ambivert?
Who wants to start first? So I am an extrovert, even though for a long time I thought I might be a little bit an introvert, because I always thought like not wanting to talk all the time with people might be an introverted thing. But then I worked with a coach together and he said, "Oh, Jenny, you're absolute extrovert." And now I'm like embracing the extrovert side, definitely. But yeah, so I'm an extrovert.
I am probably 60% introvert and 40% extrovert. And because I like to do things on my own, solve things on my own. I love people, but I like my alone time. So yeah, I have strong introvert, but I will be an extrovert when I on a podcast.
Isn't that
Jump
funny?
into different role.
Yeah. That different role, you know, we can be confident in certain situations, but not in others. It's interesting. I've seen a TED talk of a comedian who was saying, you know, he was extremely confident on stage, but as soon as he was off stage, you know, he lacked it all. His body language changed, his personality changed. He went from being this confident stage presence to being quite anxious. And isn't it interesting how we can change in our day-to-day lives? You know, we're not on stage every day, but sure, we're interacting with different types of people. And I don't know about you guys, but I find that when I'm around different people, my confidence levels shift. Jenny, do you find that?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And when you said, you know, changing is I think it's so interesting. I love it. It's part of the human experience. And really once I start allowing myself to shift into different roles and different like behaviors or maybe different moods depending on the people who come in my life, once I just accepted it and didn't judge me all the time, it's like, oh, why am I not so confident today? That's so weird. Or, oh damn, why do I don't want to talk to people today? Sometimes I walk around with earplugs and I don't even listen to music, you know? And another day I'm like, let's talk. I want to know everything about you. And then the next moment, like now in this experience, I'm working with a lot of people, but sometimes I just want to be in my quiet corner, you know? And I think it's okay.
Absolutely.
So I have a question for you, Jenny. Were you born thinking that you wanted to be a coach? Like you're now a coach, but where along your path did you decide, hey, I'm coaching people and I could be, or I am a coach? Where was this, or how did this evolve for you?
Yeah, no, like becoming a coach was really never on my radar until I think last 2 years ago, the last 2 years, yeah. Because So of course, like maybe the usual story, I was always the helper with my friends and stuff like that, but never thought about like making this a profession. Because again, back in the days, I also thought I would never be good enough to make this a profession. And then I started studying psychology. Actually, I'm still doing it, but I don't really put emphasis on it. But I started studying psychology, and that's when I knew like I really want to like work with people and help them and counsel them. But what I also learned in talking to my professor is like, I don't want to study for 10 years in order to wait to be able to help someone. How is this possible to do it earlier? And then I started working with a coach myself. And so I asked her, like, did you study 10 years psychology? She said, oh, no, you can become a coach. You can get a lot of other experience in. And that's how it started for me like 2 years ago. Get my own experience in, did the courses, um and then start working with people and just like get to know like how do I work with people? Is it easy for me? Then I did another certificate, a success life coach, to learn how to get people through their experience. And yeah, did some more qualifications, and I don't feel like needing to study for 10 years. So this is how it ended now, and I feel really good here. Not ended, but not ended, but where I am now as a coach. How is it for you, Neil? How is it for you? When did you discover it? I would love to hear that.
I don't think you were born at that point in time. I was working, and they put this program called Success for the 90s. And I'd never experienced personal growth and programs. And I just went, whoa, just my mind, my perception, my whole way of thinking and looking at life changed. How I question things, because I would ask very closed questions. And just by opening the question, so and asking for possibilities as opposed to yes, no, and that's where I was, because I was in a profession that was very linear. It just became, and then one day I just went, I want to help people, and I'm stuck with my skill set. How do I change this skill set that I have to be able to help more people? And it just became a progression, this coaching program. And then we did workshops, retreats, and it just kept going and going and going. And it's not stopped since 1996.
1996. I was born, by the way. I was 1 year old.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
see, it was close. That's 1996 is, and then and I've loved all of the personal growth that I've taken since, and I'm actually really inspired by the upcoming, like people your age, that what I struggled, because it was so new back then, is just it's an accepted way of being. Like in the 90s, people meditated. That was only for yoga people and those weird Eastern philosophies and religion. Now people can talk about meditation, and there's not the sign of the cross, and they want to call in and have you exercise for the devil and that sort of thing. So I love how much it's changed, and I'm looking forward to how much more people in your generation and younger, the 13-year-olds that are changing this world, and Sarah's little girl, how much she will change, and we will just go, oh my goodness.
It's a beautiful thing to gift our knowledge and awareness to others, and it's wonderful to help them to create their own experiences. And often, my daughter's 4, so she mirrors my talk, my language, my walk, my all sorts of things. She mirrors me, as do all kids. And to be able to give our kids this beautiful, rich experience so that they grow up and become amazing humans, that is just, I think, one of the most amazing gifts that we could give to one another. And I'm super proud to be a coach, and I'm super proud to be a mum too, by the way.
And the negative part of that is because kids mirror us and all that. That gives us coaches gives us a reason to work with shadow.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a wonderful thing to explore the shadow too. It's just a pertinent and powerful thing to do. Huge. And I know, Neil,
Yes.
you've had some experience in this. Jenny, yourself?
Working with the shadow? Oh yeah, hallelujah. Yes, absolutely.
As she sits in a dim room right now.
Open space, kind of a little scary. Sometimes when I peek, I'm just like looking, what's this? Yeah, but you know, guys, what I'm always saying is, isn't it so amazing? Like the generation, like already Sarah's generation, but now my generation and every generation after me, like this whole mindfulness, you know, like working with the shadow is like becoming so normal, like Neil said. I always say, what if the next generations don't have to heal their childhood trauma again? Because the parents already did the work. And this is legit what I am always saying. Like I say, because I mean, I also had to work in the beginning a lot about just childhood, you know. My mom didn't know better. She did those things and I love her. But what if I could just give my kids already the next step so they can just jump ahead already, you know? They don't need to heal so much just from childhood. Let's just move on, you know, and just make rock star children. And I think the next generation will look like that. I think that is really exciting. What do you guys think?
I know as a mum, I'm absolutely in agreement with you there. And I know that I certainly want to heal my shit and not pass it on to my daughter. And also like Jenny has just expressed, you know, I've worked on my childhood stuff too. And I think a lot of us do, you know, a lot of us don't actually remember that time as a child where we felt, whether it be abandoned or put down or not heard or whatever it is, that I'm not worthy story that a lot of us came up with as a child. If we heal that, wow, what incredible possibilities we have. Let's harness that. Absolutely. And Neil, what do you think?
I think absolutely that we, as parents, aunts, uncles, need to leave as minimal impact and harm in our children as we try to be our best versions. But I also recognize the biggest lessons I have learned come from when the chips are down and I'm fighting to get over or through or under something. So I don't want to ever cripple anyone, but sometimes I'm going, I want them to still find challenges worthy of fighting for themselves to get over with.
Definitely. I think, you know, not having that challenge, it's almost like, do you know the story about the butterfly and the man who helped the butterfly try to get out of the cocoon? Basically, the guy saw a butterfly, saw it in its cocoon, struggling, felt sorry for it, and helped it out. Now, that poor butterfly ended up basically becoming a disabled butterfly because it didn't have enough strength in its wings, which was born of it literally getting out of its cocoon. It couldn't fly. So for the whole life this butterfly lived, the man had to feed it because it was only able to walk. It couldn't actually spread its wings and fly, which is just what butterflies are supposed to do. So there's this huge thing, you know, if we, you know, helping someone before they're ready, is it really the best? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we are right now, we are the people who we are, like just because of our experience, because we grew, right? We worked on it. We worked through the shadow, and also we jumped into cold waters, into discomfort, and we just said, "F to the past, let's go. I want to be here in the now and just face it." So yeah, absolutely. And I always say I'm grateful for everything that happened in the past, because otherwise I wouldn't be the person that I am today. But in the same time, I don't know how else it could have been if different, you know? You never know. So yeah, that's definitely important too, you know, to grow through some tough times, just like Neil said. It's important.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great segue into hearing your story about bodybuilding. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Oh yeah. Okay. So, the bodybuilding story. Oh yeah. So, where do I fit it in right now? Okay, actually, so Neil asked me at the beginning, have I always been that confident? And no, I wasn't. But there was a time in my life, I think now like 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, where I really just had this never again moment. I was like, I just want change. I want to be the person that everybody thinks I am. Because Neil, for example, you mentioned you were always the funny guy, but underneath you were actually just scared and insecure sometimes. And for me, I was the confident one for everybody. But I wasn't. I was just playing it. I was just a good actor. And so now in this moment, I was like, okay, F that. I really want to embody the version that I know I can be, that know I am. So I read this book. Oh my God, I hope one day I meet him. Dean Graziosi. I met I read his book, Millionaire Success Habits. And in his book, he said, in order to grow, you gotta do something that is so scary that it makes you get out of your comfort zone. So I thought, let's take my biggest insecurities, being seen, being judged, and basically just being seen as who I am. So I thought, you know what? Standing half naked on a stage and actually being judged sounds kind of scary, and it sounds kind of like really good for me. So that's how the story started, and I signed up for bodybuilding. That was 2018, 2019. I had the competition. To be honest, I thought it would mean more to me to do this competition on a physical level, but the growth that I did along the way, that was the most important part, because not only did I sign up for this competition, but it also was my start of this whole self-development. It started with the book Dean Graziosi, and then it started me hearing the first time about Tony Robbins, and all those people, all this self-development world opened for me up, and I learned about manifestation and this. And on the side, prepping for competition. So I told Sarah, this whole experience bodybuilding, it was so easy for me to do because my mind was growing so much. I was so strong. Suddenly, like, preparing for this competition was like, ugh, easy, you know? So yeah, in the end, I always say, yes, it was a bodybuilding competition, but I think most importantly was the reason behind it, why. You know, and both together combined was like a body and mind experience. And yeah, it really gave me a lot of confidence. And sometimes I tell Sarah, I think this time, because I documented everything on Instagram, because before I was never on Instagram, and I also challenged myself to document it because I was so scared to be seen and judged. So I said, let's document it. And now sometimes I get like memories from Instagram, and I'm like, wow, girl, you were a little cocky at this moment, you know? Like, I was like blossoming with my confidence, and I was like embodying, I was like telling them everything about self-development, and, you know, thinking like everybody should know this. And yeah, so, but I needed this in order to grow. So yeah, there was a little insight in the bodybuilding experience. But yeah, it was a huge milestone for me, definitely.
Yeah, what a thing to do, from going from being fear of being judged to literally being judged and half naked too. And realistically, as Jenny said, it was the mindset that was the most powerful thing here. Neil, have you ever had an experience similar to that? Don't suppose you're a bodybuilder and you haven't told me.
No, but I've run 2 marathons. Only 1% of the population has ever completed a marathon. And I did all my training. And it's all a mental game. It's entirely a mental game, because once you start, and I got sick in my marathon my first marathon at kilometer 36. And it's 42.2 kilometers. I'm physically sick. I was in the bathroom. I had diarrhea, and I go, I'm in trouble. And I get emotional because I can feel that I'm in trouble. And I've done all my training. I knew my body would get me across the line, but the mind was checking out. And I get on my phone and I text my wife and say, I'm getting emotional because I'm in trouble. I don't know if I can complete it. And she just texts back, says, hang on. And I continued running. And there was one of my nephews, a kilometer and a half away. And as soon as I saw him, I was ready to go again, because it was about, they had confidence in me, and I just needed to find that back in me. They didn't give me the confidence, but I just realized that moment that it's all about me, and they loved me enough to do this. And so I found it in me. And then they're complete yuppies. So they wear they're carrying their Starbucks coffee. And my nephew started to run with me on the marathon with his coffee, his Starbucks. And I'm just like, it just mean, I still get emotional when I think of what my nephew, to him, it was just, he was there for uncle, no big attachment. But to me, it was just like, he was there when I needed just a glimmer of hope that I could do this. And he was done. So it was, I'd lost confidence in myself, and to know that somebody loved me was just like, boom, I was there. And I picked up my pace, and it was, to me, it was so, I did another one, and I'm training to do another one in October.
Wow. This is incredible. Like, oh, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that story. That is so lovely. And second off, you kick ass. Oh my God. Marathon is definitely not on my list. So huge respect for that.
Absolutely.
I will send you a link to my running coach, and he's got a free movie. And if you want to see inspiration, my running coach, he almost died in a race. And I'll put a link on the show after for our viewers. It's a free. He runs his, and he will be in the end of August. He is coming as a guest, Scott McDermott. But I'll send you guys a link to watch his show. Sarah, have you pushed yourself so far out of your comfort zone?
I have, in several ways, and not always positive, because, you know, we're here in a conversation and it's real talk, yeah? Real talk. So, you know, pushing yourselves, it can depend on the people you're around. I know that when I was around people who weren't in a great space, you know, we might have pushed ourselves to stay up all night or all weekend, or, you know, bigger, better, faster, more, party, and then crash. And I did that for so long that it really pushed me mentally. And then the next challenge was this doesn't align with me anymore. What can I draw on? Well, I can draw on my resilience. You know, I've had several surgeries for different accidents and major accidents that I've had in my life. And I knew that if I can push through that physical pain, I can get through emotional pain. So my confidence is very much from within. I know myself that I can do a hell of a lot, and I do a hell of a lot. And I also respect myself and know that it's okay to take a break and just chill, because that constant push, it's in the coaching industry, that go, and it really shits me. It really shits me, because we need to relax. We need to incorporate that which we've just gone through, that which we've just learned, and move things up again. I'd love to have Jimmy join us some more and let us know some more of this conversation that you would like to join in with, because there's some real stories out there that are so important to tell, both with positive and negative. And if we don't tell them, then we have this normalized, Instagram friendly, everything's okay perspective that we can't live up to. And that does not suit my model of the world. I'm about realism and authenticity, and I'm going to share the good and the bad. And I know intrinsically, I know I've got me, and I'm going to soar. And I know that more and more people will get that benefit from hanging out with me, whether it be in a friend situation or some of my clients all around the world. We can all do anything we want to do, and we need to have rest. It's so important to rest in between. And I think Janine was talking about that a couple of weeks ago, wasn't she, Neil, about that importance of sleep and that routine of, it's okay just to take that step back.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jenny, you did your bodybuilding. What was we'll just say one of your takeaways from this incredible experience? What was one of the that you took away, the lessons that you learned from it that you could share with her?
Yes. So I think, so there were a lot of beautiful moments, but I think one of the biggest takeaways that I would say that I saw was really just seeing everybody else in this world, in this bodybuilding world, and seeing everybody who was doing it just for the physical aspect, I want to say, and like Sarah was just mentioning, would not allow themselves to rest, or because it was like so different experiences. I sometimes thought I would do something wrong because I didn't feel miserable. But the world, like the bodybuilding world, tells you you will feel miserable because this is normal to feel miserable. So it's normalized. And to not feel miserable always makes you guess like, oh, I might do something wrong. And this is already like, now looking back at it, I'm like, oh, why did I even question that? I should have said, oh, I'm not feeling miserable, and that is really good. And in the end, I figured out it was good. But at some points, I was like, that's so weird. And especially talking to other people who would see you smiling at the gym, they'd be like, have you like skipped a workout, or why are you so happy right now? That's weird. So, kind of like that whole like culture, like you have to feel miserable. It is normal, and you just get through this. But yeah, I think this was my biggest takeaway, to say, this is not what I want to do. This is not how you have to do it. And I think we can use this example for the whole world. Just because someone else is like hustling and working their butt off and working nonstop doesn't mean I have to do the same in order to have my success. We can all create the life we desire, like Sarah would say, right? So I think, honestly, this is one takeaway. And now talking about it, I think it was meant to be in my life in that moment. But in that moment, it was bodybuilding. But now I take this moment and put it into business, looking at other coaches who their work ethic doesn't align with me. But I still have to always remember, what is that I want to do? And the same with bodybuilding. What is it how do I want to feel? And really, every moment is like that. So I think, Neil, now that I talk about it, this was the biggest takeaway, to learn, how do I want to feel, and not the people around me.
And I think underlying that is that you were forced, or you came to the realization, or you accepted that you needed to look at the way life was showing up, and you didn't have to follow the cultural norms, the societal norms, or the expectations of what the world wanted, and you went out and defined what it is that you want.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And in the end, just stick with it. Stick with it. Even if you're the only one. I mean, I was the only one. I was the only one feeling good. And I knew I'm not doing anything wrong. But in the end, it was a good experience. Everything was good. And I placed So I did everything good, and I made a point, you don't have to be miserable and get to your success.
So so you must have done this in the fitness or the fitness category.
Figure. So more muscle, more posing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So for those that don't know, there are various categories in bodybuilding, and the more muscle you're showing, the more work society thinks you have to work towards to be able to show it. So
Absolutely. And one thing I need to say for everybody listening, I also did this vegan, so it's all possible.
And you did, yeah. When I was 26, I would have been laughed out of a gym to try to do it as vegan. There was no way. Just another example of how wonderful the world has changed in certain ways. That it's like, we no longer beat up vegans.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? People like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day, they were told, just like NFL players, eat meat, all those big sporty people, whether you're at the Olympics or whatever field you were in at your peak, you were told eat meat. And there's been a lot of research into the diet changes over the years and how veganism is so much more healthy for you if you're an athlete, especially like a power athlete who's there to deliver. I'm not going to go into the science behind it. I don't know, Jenny, if you want to or not, but it's actually really incredible. And you do not, but you do not need to follow that one guideline that you've been taught as a child. Stuff changes over the years. The stuff that's coming into science these days, this is basically stuff that we learned like 100 years ago. Stuff that we can use now was like 100 years old. Like, who would have thought? What are we going to be teaching people 100 years from now? Interesting thought, I think.
I was silently chuckling because backstage we were talking about a signal in case we're going too long, and it was like this. And I'm thinking when Sarah's talking, Jenny, you can talk about the vegan diet and the science, and I'm thinking Jenny's like,
no, thank you.
Yeah. So, if in the perfect world, who is it that you love to coach, Jenny? Like, what are some of the things that of your ideal client that you like to work with? What are some of the things, if you were to create a perfect client, what would the interests or aspects of those clients be to you if you were painting your perfect client?
Yes, I love to work with millennials. I love to work with people that are in my age range because I can just relate. Like the way we were we grew up, and like having still our parents with those old tunnel version, letting us like raising us with their tunnel version. So having people come to me and having like those dreams that seem so absurd, like so weird from what they were told that they should do, or so weird from the life they should live. And always, I love when I hear should or must, because that's where I'm like, oh yeah, tell me more. And so I really love this. I love to show people like, hey, you know what? Everything that you actually want, it can happen. It can happen. Let's do it. Let's work through this. Or maybe let's even look where all this is coming from. And then helping people, like I always say, millennials, and helping them identify that all those thoughts that they have of the shoulds and the musts, or just everything that their parents were talking around them when they were maybe a child, but they didn't choose to keep those beliefs, but now they just have it. So it's so beautiful. So that's why I love to have the millennials. Also because I can just relate, on a I would say on an age base, I don't know, on experience. Really interesting it is when I go into my own language. So working with Germans, I'm from Germany, by the way, if you don't hear it already. So working with Germans is like a whole, like, I want to say I started it later. So that's really interesting for me because now we can really relate the history, the story, our parents, how they grew up. So this is really interesting. But in general, yeah. So my age, yeah, I really like that. We vibe really good. Yeah.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, who do you like? So millennials, but do you have a niche that you like to work with, or you just like do you do relationships? What is it that you, in the perfect world, what is it that you like? The juiciness of the coaching world. What is it that you like to work with?
Well, I love to work with people who are ready to dive into some emotions too, who are not just success driven, who, because I always say I'm not giving you a business strategy or something like that. So I'm not a business coach. Because what I like to do, I want to go on a deeper level and I want to help them to heal their shit. That is what I do. Because I also work with breathwork. I'm a breathwork facilitator and a success life coach. So what I do, I'm not giving another strategy. I'm not holding hands. But what I do, I guide them through their own emotional release. And breathwork, if you or everybody listening have never done it or maybe done it or don't know what it is legit a breathing technique that allows you to release patterns that you might be screaming, you might be crying, and it's all part of the letting shit go. And this is what I like to do. And people who are open for the experience. If people come to me and they say, hey, I want to have this amount of money in those many days or something like that, I don't work with them. But for people who overall say they want to have a higher or a better quality of life, they want to be like more fulfilled, or they want to find what it is that they're missing, or they have already XYZ, but still they don't feel like fulfilled, I help them. But I always start with the wheel of life. So it's all aspects of life. It's the whole success. It's not just family or just relationships. It's all together. And this is what I do. This is the first session. Honestly, it's always wheel of life. Where are we? And then we go from there. And I think, Sarah, you also work with the wheel of life, right?
Yeah. In a different sense, my wheel of life may involve an onion. Those who've worked with me before will have heard that word onion a lot, because there are so many layers to our lives and so many different avenues that we explore daily. So absolutely, it's great that you are helping people fulfill, millennials particularly, fulfill those various areas of that beautiful wheel of life that we're all a part of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, I think, the whole niching down was a big question for me at the beginning. That's why I started with millennials. And then honestly, millennials who want to slay their goals and who want to make massive changes in their life, but overall who just want to like level up in their life in whatever way possible and just feel fulfilled and just find what makes them really like feel this fulfilled feeling. And yeah, just guide them to that goal, whatever it is.
And it sounds really like it's not a short-term thing, that I want to make that money fast, that's that short-term goal. Whereas, what we work in, actually all three of us, realistically, it's about that long-term lifestyle, that maintenance, that enjoyment of life and that fulfillment, those happy moments that we get to spend with our loved ones, whoever they are and wherever they are around the world, enjoying life. We get to enjoy that too. Isn't that amazing? I've got chills. Like I don't know if you can see, the hairs on my arms are sticking up now because I feel so passionate about this experience that we get to have. Wonderful experience.
Yes.
And Jenny said it best. Coaching or to living a fulfilled life, no matter what level you're at and what level you want to go to, it's all about just letting go your shit. That's whatever. And sometimes you just need a guide, screaming, pounding on cushions, having someone to share with you, and is all letting go of our shit. And when we let go of it, life is so much easier.
Yes. Well, this is giving me chills now. I love it. Like healing. Oh gosh, once I dove into this aspect, like especially through COVID, oh my God, so much time, so much healing, so much shadow work. This is the true work. Everybody listening here now, healing, shadow work. This is everything that we're trying to run away from. You gotta face it. And because on the other side, there's just so much bliss, so much love, and also so much. It's like a new you, like not a new you, but like something new coming out of you finally. Like Sarah said, like peeling the layers, you know? Oh, it's just so beautiful. This makes me really like on fire, you know? I love this.
In North America, there's and the animal called the buffalo or the bison, and they're one of the few animals when the winter storms come, they're the one of the animals that turn into the storm to face the storm. And we're not taught, in many of us, I shouldn't say we're not, many of us aren't taught resilience and to step into the fire, step into the storm and stand with it, because the storm will weather and it will go away. And we need to step into it and be willing to. Many people that I've known and have coached and that have stopped 2 minutes short of achieving some of their greatest because they've just given up. And they just need to continue. Find out who you are.
He knows where you live. Be careful.
Yeah.
It's so true, though. Those things are just at the tip of our fingers. They're just out of our reach. You know, they can seem so far away until you step back and recognize, actually, yesterday it was quite a bit further, and the day before that, quite a bit further. And I'm actually quite close to this now. And having those people around you, like Neil mentioned, you know, having his nephew on that run was just that beautiful love and inspiration that got him to that finishing line. You know, having that in other areas of our life is super powerful. Yeah. So Jenny and I have got some exciting news, Neil. We're going to share. So for a while now, we've been plotting. We've had our cauldrons out. She's been in Japan. I've been in Australia. Our cauldrons have been like bubbling over, and we've been interested to look into how we can help people in their daily lives for a while now. You know our story, you know our coaching story, but we've decided to team up, best team ever, I reckon, and do two retreats. One's going to be a mini retreat, one's going to be a 2-day event. Now, Jenny, would you like to share some information about our forthcoming event with everybody?
Absolutely, because I'm so excited. So yeah, August 22nd. It's actually next month already. Let's go. Yeah. August 22nd, we have our first little retreat, and then October, I think I have to confirm with you also.
16. Yeah, 16.
Neil?
What country time zone? August 22nd, whose time zone?
Very good point. So in Australia, it will be, or in Western Australia, it will be from midday till 4 p.m. And Jenny, you're in Spain, it's going to be 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. So we will put some details up. Just check your local guides wherever you are around the world. We'll let you know. It's all going to be hopefully all on the 22nd.
So yeah, no, 22nd or the 23rd?
No, it's this 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's August 22nd. Maybe for the States.
Time zone shift.
Oh, is it?
Well, there's a 6-hour difference between Australia and Spain. So we've got multiple areas covered, and there's a 12-hour difference between a lot of the states and Western Australia too. So it would be a very early morning, like midnight to 4 a.m. for people joining us from the States. But hey, who hasn't done an all-nighter? Like, I know recently I was at Tony Robbins, was it 4 or 5 days, and I was up all night. And
oh my God, yes.
15-hour days. Like, who hasn't done that for personal development, like, and growth fun. Like, wow, what an experience.
And if you haven't, this might be the one that you choose to do because it'll be worth it.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely, because it's going to be with us.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yes.
the art or going from autopilot to intentional living is what we'll be looking at. We'll be sharing some tips to how you can create your own confidence, how you can live with your own intention. And Jenny mentioned before, she'll be doing some breath work. You guys know my history. I'm a transpersonal art therapist. However, we'll be doing art as therapy in this retreat. There's a significant difference, which I won't go into now, but we're doing art as therapy. So there'll be a bit of coaching. There'll be a few different modalities. And I have 100% certainty you're going to go on a ride and you're going to come out feeling like, wow, that was the best decision I ever made joining her.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we can both agree what we don't want to have is just a lecture, just where people sit and listen. Because what we're going to do, we're going to include everybody who's there. We will feel like we are all sitting together just through the screen, but you won't even notice. It will be a comfy place. It will be a safe space and will be fun and will be also easy and chill and relaxed because it's a retreat. It's for you to just sit back and relax while learning something, while doing something, coming out of it and like feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, and with like ready to go.
I think it's a great form of self-care that you're going to walk away with because you're going to get self-care in many avenues. And realistically, putting yourself in a good space before and afterwards, whether you're getting away from the family, whether you're taking time off work, whatever you're doing, do it for yourself and know that you're going to benefit from it.
And it's open to everyone?
To women. So Jenny works with millennials. I'm sorry, Neil. I'm sorry. I know you're gutted. I know. But, Jenny and I both work with women, so we are inviting women to join us for our mini retreat and again for our 2-day retreat in October. So, and I know Neil's done a few different workshops. I know you've gone to retreats in the past, and I know that you see value in it. What do you get at the end of a retreat, Neil? What do you walk away with?
It depends on the retreat, but if we're looking at self-care, for me, if I'm coming away from a self-care retreat, I find a greater sense of self. I find that I'm far more relaxed and I am able to interact with my loved ones at a far more compassionate and understanding way. I'm not like, ah! I'm just much more calm, much more zen, and I have a greater understanding of myself.
Yeah, agreed. I get that too. Yeah. And Jenny, we have only a few minutes before we're going to wrap this bad boy up today. And I just want to get you to introduce your Facebook group to the audience because it's a valuable group and you give a lot. Tell us a bit about Millennial Slaying Goals.
Yes. So you will find a link here. I think this is how you type it. You can type it like that, millennials who slay goals, or you just type in millennials slaying goals. And yeah, because I decided it's time for a community where people, like-minded people who all want to slay their goals in life and make the massive changes they want in life, where they can all find each other too. And it's not about me showing up and coaching all the time. It is actually me just engaging everybody to be together and to pitch into each other's things. There might be questions, there might be some interesting facts, and to just build this community. And actually, I'm surprised, like it's growing. I think I started like a little bit over a month ago, and now it's like over 100. So I'm happy for that. And I'm happy that always people are like saying, yes, I want to be surrounded by more like-minded people, because sometimes around us in our daily life, sometimes the people we're most closest with might not align always with the things we want to do. So nowadays, 21st century, hey, thanks to technology, we don't have to be physical with them. We can find them in the online space. So that's where you will find it. Millennials Slaying Goals. You can come and join, definitely. I would love to meet you there.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, and also, otherwise, you definitely find me on Instagram. You will find that there too. Jenny_confident healing. This is where I'm the most. So let me know if you watch this podcast on YouTube, and I would love to connect with you. Definitely.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. And Neil, how people find you?
They don't. No. So they can find me on Facebook under Neil Thrussell. Um, um, uh, you have to look for this handsome mug on there because there used to be another Neil Thrussell in New Zealand, but you will see this handsome mug there. Or you can find me under Old School. So I actually have a website. Not millennials traditionally don't have website, but I'm old school. So
No, that's good.
Yeah, neilthrussell.com, and you can find me, and all my links are there. And Sarah, how would you like people to get a hold of you?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn, on Instagram and Facebook. Design the life you desire _ Sarah is me on Instagram. I really enjoy art and creativity, and you see that on my Instagram feed, and it's often integrated with recent up-to-date research and amazing quotes that really mean something to me, and I trust that, like me, they mean something to you too. You can also find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Coach Sarah Wade. And guys, if there's all of us have got some free things to give away, get in touch with us. If one of us really resonates with you, reach out, start a conversation. We'd love to help you to help yourself. So before we do wrap everything up for today, Neil, have you got any final words?
I've always got words. Well, not always. I've been tongue-tied a few times here. But
Spot the author. Yeah.
Whatever you do, whatever you choose to do in life, remember, you are worthy of all your goals, your hopes, your dreams, and all I ask and all that I wish for you is that you take one massive step towards achieving your goals and go and live the life that you deserve, want, and desire. How about you, Jenny? Any last words you'd love to leave our audience with?
Well, I also always have words. But last final words is, I want for everybody who's listening or watching to know that once you allow yourself to really be seen as who you are, you can be loved as who you are. And I think this is beautiful when we just don't hide, stop all the fake shit, and we can just take our guard down and then have the people who are still with us see us and also love us for who we are. And this is really beautiful.
Oh,
that
was a bit of a warming moment there. I love that. Great.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. For me, I'm going to share an Einstein quote. So thinking is hard work. That's why so few people do it. Our human potential is ours for the grasping. Don't hand that paintbrush to anybody else. Go out there and design the life you desire and get out and have uplifting conversations that make you feel fantastic. Whether you're listening or talking, enjoy life. And we'll see you next time on Uplift. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.